What is up guys, it's Solheim here, welcome back to another classic WoW video. Today's topic is professions, and my goal with this video is to help you decide which professions to pick on your main and maybe even your alts. I will go through every profession somewhat briefly and talk about what it's good for and which other profession it pairs well with, so you can pick two professions that synergize well with each other. Alright, with that intro out of the way, let's look at some professions. First off, we have the primary professions, which will split into two categories, gathering and crafting professions. We'll talk about gathering professions first and then crafting professions later. First off, we have herbalism. This is a great way to consistently make gold throughout Classic because of herbs always being on high demand due to alchemists using them to create flasks and potions used by pretty much everyone. However, this can also be a quite popular and therefore competitive profession because of the massive demand. The prices of herbs might be constantly changing due to undercuts and some idiots undercutting by more than one copper to try and sell faster. Also, farming spots might be heavily contested. This being said, I still think herbalism will be the safest and most consistent gold making profession through Classic. Next up we have mining. This is a pretty good gold making profession in Classic, and while herbs are mostly farmed out in the wild, mining can actually be farmed in dungeons, thus eliminating the factor of farming spots being overpopulated. Mining will be a good gold maker throughout all of Classic because of orbs being used by blacksmiths to craft armor and bars used in quest chains, including legendary quest chains, and because even alchemists need a constant supply of rare gems found by miners in order to do the transmutes. It is worth noting that in Classic you can only track one gathering profession at a time. What I mean by this is that in BFA you can track mining nodes, herbs and fish on your minimap all at the same time, while on Classic you can only track one of them. Therefore, having herbalism plus mining on the same character might be challenging, as it would require you to constantly switch between tracking herbs and tracking mining nodes. Another gathering profession which I think is greatly undervalued is skinning. First off, all I have to say is that when it comes to gold making, this profession is great. Just think about this. When you're leveling, you're killing a lot of beasts, and if you have skinning, you can skin that beast for leather, which you can vendor for gold. Some leather later in the game might even be worth auctioning. This is a great profession to have if you're planning to grind the mobs for gold, as it will passively increase the amount of gold you make per hour. That being said, this profession is best suited for hunters or warlocks, as you can send your pet or demon to start attacking the next target while you skin to reduce downtime. Any other class will have downtime while skinning, but I still think that downtime is worth it. Another bonus with skinning is that if you're a leather user, you can pair skinning with leatherworking to be self-sufficient by crafting your own gear. Next up we have crafting professions. First up we have alchemy. This is one of, if not the best profession to have in Classic. First off, you can make a ton of gold with basic recipes by making potions that increase DPS, fire resistance or nature resistance. You can also make a ton of gold by acquiring rare recipes like different flask recipes. Another reason why this profession is great is because of the different transmutes, and especially transmute Arcanite. This transmute alone can make you 5 to 10 gold every couple of days. People even supply you with materials and pay you lots of gold just to do the transmute for them. So with alchemy you can make a lot of gold by putting in the work, but you can also make passive gold just by selling your transmutes, the best of both worlds. Alchemy also makes you able to craft potions to help you in different scenarios. For example, potions to increase your movement speed, making you able to breathe underwater, potions increasing your DPS, and much more. Another great profession is blacksmithing. Blacksmiths can make plate armor and weapons and mail armor, which can be a great way of making gold. Acquiring rare recipes will be the most important thing, as that's where the big bucks comes from. The rarer the recipe, the higher the profit. Some notable blacksmithing crafts are Arcanite Reaper, Invulnerable Mail, and Sulfuron Hammer. In addition to crafting gear, blacksmiths can also craft stones, such as Elemental Sharpening Stone to enhance the DPS of weapons, and they can craft keys used to open chests and doors in case a group lacks a rogue to do that job. So with blacksmithing out of the way, let's talk about enchanting. Enchanting allows players to enhance several gear slots permanently, as well as disenchant gear into dusts to be used for enchant. Enchanting is a great way to make gold, but again, it's all about the recipes. Some recipes are locked behind reputation, some are acquired from raids, and some from dungeons. Some are even world drops. A reason enchanting will be popular throughout all of Classic is because enchants are used by everyone, at different stages in the game. Some people might have a hard time questing at level 40 and choose to spend their leftover gold after buying their mount on buying weapon enchants. Level 19 twinks need enchants. Raiders need enchants. Fresh level 60s might want enchants to compete against better geared people. You get the point. Apart from this, enchanters can also make wands, which makes them great at the beginning of Classic and great for alts as well. Additionally, enchanters can create a powerful tanking trinket called Smoking Heart of the Mountain, but that's mostly wanted by Guardian Druids, and I think everyone knows Protection Warrior is the way to go now, right? Next up we have Engineering. This is a really fun profession which can really alter your playstyle, and it offers a lot of different gadgets to help you in your adventures through Azeroth. Engineering is a strong profession for DPS classes, especially hunters, and it's also the go-to profession for PvP players, with a special value for level 19 twinks. Players can get additional damage and utility from bombs, such as Arcane Bomb, which drains mana from a target and explodes, dealing damage equal to mana drained, and lots of other bombs to deal damage to players or enemies in an area. Other fun gadgets engineers can craft are Field Repair Bot, which offers repairs for the whole group, Parachute Cloak, which slows fall speed, and Discombobulator Ray, which reduces damage and movement speed of your enemy. Engineers can also make items to increase movement speed by a lot for a short amount of time, as well as a mind control helmet which lets you mind control enemies, and transporters to teleport you to certain places. The second to last primary profession for today is leatherworking. At max level, leatherworking gear can be used in PvE scenarios, and many recipes offer resistance stats, which is great for raiding. Another big gold making craft for leatherworkers is the Devil Sword set, which requires Devil Sword leather, which is usually highly contested. Leatherworkers can also make armor kits, which usually provides a defensive value to certain gear slots. Additional notable items for leatherworking are Onyxia Scale Cloak, an essential item your raid team will need for Nefarian as it protects you from the Shadow Flame ability. Hunters will also want some ammo pouches or arrow quivers as they increase attack speed. Some novelty items like the Heavy Leather Ball can also be crafted, which offers some in-game fun. The last primary profession is tailoring. Tailoring is frequently chosen by casters to be self-sufficient with gear. Tailoring works well as a standalone profession since you can use the cloth you loot from mobs around the world to skill up and craft things with tailoring. Tailors primarily create cloth armor and cloaks. At maximum level, these items either offer resistant bonuses or are part of a set with a powerful set bonus and powerful procs. Another big bonus to tailoring is that they can create bags. Everyone needs bag space, and everyone loves having bag space. Even from a low level, tailors will be wanted by everyone to convert cloth into bags. Tailors can make special bags for herbalists or even warlocks, which offer a lot more bag space, but are limited to one category of items in them. For example, a regular bag has 16 bag slots, while the warlock bag made by tailors has 28 slots, but can only be used to store soul shards. Tailors can also make different RP items like different shirts, as well as it's used to pair with enchanting for easy skill ups in both professions. Craft a gear of uncommon quality with tailoring for tailoring skill ups, then disenchant it for enchanting materials and use that to enchant stuff. Next up, we'll talk about secondary professions, and the first one is cooking. Cooking provides a steady supply of food for players to eat to restore health and mana. Cooking is useful for raiders, PvPers, twinks, or anyone looking to enhance themselves in general, since certain food and drinks offer stat bonuses. You can also create some fun RP items like Savory Deviate Delight, Dragon Breath Tea, Thistle Tea, or Eggnog. A fun side note is that alcoholic beverages made through cooking usually makes your character tipsy and you lose control of your character. Thistle tea is also wanted by rogues as it instantly refills your energy bar, allowing sick burst damage. Basically, cooking offers self-sufficient health plus mana regen out of combat, which is great while leveling, plus it offers some different ways to make gold through stat bonus food, and it offers RP food. What more could you want? Speaking of self-sufficiency, we need to talk about first aid. If you're gonna pick up one profession while leveling, pick up first aid. Whether you're a speed leveler, a casual leveler, a PvPer, raider, whatever, first aid will be so useful and it's a lifesaver on a daily basis. You can use the cloth you find while leveling to skill up first aid and use the bandages to heal yourself in combat, which is really useful while leveling. At later levels you can also utilize CC or stun abilities to then heal up with a bandage, and it just feels so great since a class like a rogue who basically has no self-healing abilities can heal himself a ton through gouging and bandaging. The last profession for today, and one of the best in my opinion, is fishing. Fishing is a time-consuming profession, but rewarding if you want to cook certain recipes like stat buff food, or if you need specific ingredients for other professions, such as oily blacksmith for alchemy. Fishing also has many intricate mechanics and fun flavor items. First off though, there are some fishing basics you need to know. You will need a fishing pole equipped in order to catch fish. Your success chance at catching the fish is reliant on your fishing skill. Higher level zones have higher skill threshold. You can increase your fishing skill by adding bait to your fishing pole. Fishing in a specific pool will yield a specific type of catch, as opposed to open waters. Some fish are seasonal, while others only appear during the night or day, offering different ways to make gold, like fishing for winter fish and waiting to sell it until summertime when the supply is low. Just like real life, there are some fun quirky aspects to fishing. You can acquire floating wreckage, which can obtain alcohol such as Rumsey Rum Black Label, which increases stamina by 15 and which is wanted by twinks. Deviate fish, which can turn you into funny things, and every Sunday there's a Stranglethorn fishing contest where you can obtain great rewards like a fishing pole that increases fishing by 35. Fishing is great because it offers a different way to make gold than just kill things, and for me I always find fishing in game very relaxing. It also offers people a way to earn a ton of gold at low levels. For example, a level 10 can have max fishing and fish in Tenaris for stone scale eel, or fishing for deviate fish or any fish that is on high demand and therefore make great profit. It is entirely possible for a level 10 to hit gold cap if you just fish enough for it. However, being a level 10 in Tenaris fishing for stone scale eel means you will easily get ganked by anyone from the opposite faction, and you'll aggro a ton of mobs because your level is so low. As it's getting towards the end of this video, let's talk about professions that pair well together. Alchemy pairs well with herbalism and fishing, as reagents from both those professions are needed for potions, flasks and elixirs, and at higher levels mining ore is also needed for transmutes. Blacksmithing pairs well with mining, as you will need lots of ore. Cooking pairs well with fishing, as you will need raw fish to cook many recipes. If you're interested in maxing out cooking, you will need to cook recipes requiring fish. Enchanting pairs well with tailoring, leatherworking or blacksmithing, as those professions you generate gear that you can be disenchanted. Tailoring is generally most common, as you can loot the cloth needed for tailored items without having to learn a gathering profession such as skinning for leatherworking or mining for blacksmithing, so tailoring is usually the way to go. Engineering pairs well with mining, as it requires lots of ore, just like blacksmithing. Fishing pairs well with alchemy and herbalism, as raw fish are reagents for both those professions. Leatherworking pairs well with skinning, as you will need those reagents for crafted gear. Mining pairs well with either engineering or blacksmithing production professions that require ore. If you are incredibly rich or have lots of time and alts to farm, you can of course pair two production professions such as engineering and blacksmithing on a warrior and then either buy tons of ore or have an alt to farm it. If you are hurting for cash, you may want to grab two gathering professions or alchemy plus herbalism to maximize your auction house gains. As a final personal note, I would advise you to pick up skinning for passive gold gains by leveling and keep skinning if you intend to farm mobs at high level or max level. Also pick up herbalism or mining as your second profession for more gold. If you want, you can drop skinning for herbalism at max level, but having both herbalism plus mining might be difficult to manage. I would advise you to have 2 gathering professions on your main and 2 crafting professions on your alt character. For example, have skinning plus herbalism on your main character, and alchemy plus another crafting profession for gold making on that alt character. This method only works if you intend to level an alt somewhat early in Classic, since you don't start making decent gold until a somewhat high skill level, and having maximum skill in crafting professions requires your character to be level 35 plus. If you're planning on going hardcore PvE, I would suggest you switch the roles around and have, for example, alchemy plus enchanting on your main and tailoring plus herbalism or skinning plus herbalism on your alt character. This is because hardcore PvE players can get their hands on rare recipes from dungeons and raids faster, and they can make a lot of gold from those rare recipes by learning them and crafting them. So there we go, a short guide explaining every profession somewhat briefly to help you make your decision of which professions to pick up at least a little bit easier. I will also leave a link to Wowhead's in-depth guides to every classic profession in the video description, so if there's any specific profession you want to know more about, check out those guides. I will make videos in the future on how to make gold with each profession. The first 2 will be skinning and fishing, where I will talk in detail about how to make gold, which items to farm, where to farm them, and how much gold you can realistically make. I'm not sure if every profession gold making guide will be done before the launch of Classic, but I will do my best to make them. Keep in mind I base all of these guides on the beta and stress test info, so it requires me to either get into the beta myself or at least have one of my friends in the beta commit their time to check out the farms for me. This is why making these videos takes time. I have already made a video showcasing 10 different gold farms which are perfect to do while leveling, which I will leave a pop-up link to on the screen, plus a guide to picking a class in Classic, which is similar to this video but it covers classes instead of professions. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.